Today, we're going to talk about the number one relationship letdown happening on first dates, whether you are a man or a woman. That's right, whether a man or a woman, this one thing can oftentimes, not often, most of the time, all the time, stifle a budding relationship. And it's a big letdown. So I'm going to share from my own personal experience. This is a piggyback from my previous live video I did just the other day about love at first sight. And I want to give everyone an update on what happened with my date that happened this past weekend. So I'm going to read to you from a post that I have on my YouTube channel, and it goes like this. In the past, relationships were somewhat transactional due to survival needs, and if a man could provide, he was deemed attractive. Now, chemistry is one of the most essential factors in mating at midlife. Although rich guys always seem to buy young, pretty women, that hasn't changed. The interesting thing about chemistry, it's the first thing you see and feel, but at the same time, it can be very elusive. With that said, many of you read my post or watched my video about being excited about meeting someone for the first time. And sadly, I have some somber news to report. She didn't feel chemistry after meeting and spending the entire day with me. As I mentioned, I got excited because we spent a fair amount of time on the phone exchanging nooks and crannies of our lives due to distance. We matched on so many areas that are important to me, from intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and even how we like our toilet paper, our politics, or even how we load the dishwasher. It was as if I had designed the perfect person. She admitted she felt the same. In fact, she felt equally disappointed, sad, and was even crying as I was when she shared the news that she didn't feel it. We processed the experience the following morning, allowing for a healthy bit of closure. The span of this entire experience lasted about a week. And yet, in typical relationships, chemistry is the thing we first see, and then it takes weeks, if not months, to find out two people are misaligned when it comes to compatibility. But by then, it's too late. Humans are oftentimes too invested to walk away. If I'm being a little bit honest, I'm bummed. But this further resolves that my special person exists for me, and I'm just one step away from the finish line. Okay, there's my report, and I have a lot to share regarding this related to chemistry and all the little facets that happened in this experience, because chemistry is either can create a relationship as a deal breaker. Many of you have experienced, you've gone on a first date with a man and you didn't feel it. You didn't feel any connection. You didn't feel any desire to kiss him. You didn't feel, or whether you're in a man, you felt the same way. You might have felt disappointed. You might have felt duped. Now, in this particular case, we both did a FaceTime, so I felt like we had a fair assessment of our looks. But you see, chemistry is an intangible. It could be pheromones, it's hormones, it's more than just physical attraction. And so chemistry, whether you're a man or woman, is definitely needed in the early stages of dating. If you ever seen my relationship iceberg chart, please forgive the glare. It's the first thing we see is chemistry. It's above the waterline. But what's radically important is shared values, shared vision, blendable lifestyles. Excuse me, I was going to sneeze, and emotional maturity. Folks, I know I got a lot of criticism from many of you to share my enthusiasm in the previous video as if I was breaking all my rules. I'm going to say quite the opposite, excuse me. I'm very proud of my real-time vulnerability, putting myself in the crosshairs of people to judge me. I don't mind that. I don't mind that you judge me. I don't mind that you criticize me. But let me just say this. I am following the script that I teach, and I'll share with that in a moment. In fact, she and I did nothing wrong. As I said, I practiced what I taught. We were intentional. We were radically honest, and we didn't waste time. We agreed shortly after we connected on that first video chat that we wanted to meet. You see, what happens is why I criticize long distance dating is people spend months and months and months talking and 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 talking. And then, gosh, that's a real letdown if you've spent months connecting with someone not to have that chemistry, or worse, not to find out that you're really compatible with one another, not to make the effort. So long distance connections require more intentionality because there are more cons of doing long distance dating, and the stars have to align perfectly is my big gigantic gripe. So for many of you who have criticized my choice here, I'm not a fan of long distance dating. I'm open to doing it because I have a flexible lifestyle. This person had a flexible lifestyle. They didn't have children to babysit anymore. They had the financial resources to travel. See, a lot of pieces of the puzzle need to be in place before you ever consider it. Most importantly, we both were people who knew we wanted to eventually get married or live with someone. Folks, you should be asking these radically deep questions, whether they live 300 miles away or they live 3 miles away. I can't believe how many of you allow the penis to get so close to vagina when he says, I don't know if I want a relationship. When a man says, I don't know, the last word is N-O. I don't know, meaning I don't want it. Folks, and this is equally worse when you do a long distance dating dynamic. Now, I just want to say something. She was very sad and disappointed. Not because she thought she hurt me, although she did feel disappointment in that, because she had high hopes too. We really connected in a way that I thought was very wonderful because I asked the radically honest questions. We had these deep conversations beyond the, how's your day going? Did you have a good day? I hope you had a good day. Tell me all about your day. Was your day good? Many of you spend more time talking about your day than what your heart desires, what's your fears, what's your insecurities. Those are the conversations that give you insight also. She was big into personal development. As much as I frequently talk about this, she, much like I, has done a tremendous amount of therapy to heal wounds that happened in her lifetime. Folks, everybody is walking around with wounds. If they are not doing some level of work to heal, you are rolling the dice. You are absolutely rolling the dice. And what I mean is your chances of getting double sixes is very slim. You know, the one thing I appreciate in this whole experience, we had lovely closure. In fact, we've spoken to each other a number of times since I've gotten home, and I did travel right back home. I was literally a 24-hour trip. Thankfully, the drive was only 4 hours and 10 minutes. And you were able to process the experience, and we're both equally sad. So, you know, sadly, in many cases, you don't get to process what happens. People lie to you. They say they didn't have chemistry. Or excuse me, they didn't have chemistry, but they come up with some other rationalization why it didn't work. But this probably is the number one letdown that happens on first dates. And sometimes chemistry is our wounding. Bump, bump, bump. Chemistry is our wounding. If you haven't read the book, Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendrix and Helen Hunt, I highly recommend reading this book so you understand how often we believe our attraction to somebody is chemistry when it's actually you're attracted to something familiar from your childhood, and we confuse it as chemistry. See, it could be quite possible that the reason why she didn't feel it for me is that she's still healing. I'm just speculating here. She's healing for some wound. I don't think that's the case, but that's certainly the possibility. You know, I will say this. The reason why I got so excited, everybody, is that what I loved most was she was easy to talk to. Do you know what saddens me today? I mean, in the dating realm, how dull communication is, how lack of responsiveness, or how poor the engagement is. It is so radically disappointing to me that I lose interest so fast. This person was engaging. She was responsive. She was interesting, going along with being interested. If I can't emphasize this enough, to be interesting and interested. And many of you are just fishing in the bottom of the barrel of effort. And it's no wonder people are butting up against each other, not actually connecting, because people don't know how to actually engage with human beings. And I sadly need someone at a much higher level. In fact, she set the bar rather high when it comes to responsiveness and engagement. So here's the dilemma we're faced with in our current dating environment. And I want someone to write this down. Someone write this down. Accelerated learning curve is the problem. Accelerated learning curve. See, unlike the past where you could get together, you go out for ice cream one day, you go out to dinner another time, maybe you go for a walk, maybe you go for a hike, maybe you go to a movie. You allow time to get to know a person. Our old system was we took time to get to know a person, where chemistry actually could be built over a period of time. Now, in our particular case, because of the distance, it had to be there or not. Now, someone just asked me, did you have chemistry for her? I had attraction for her. I had attraction for her. I felt chemistry in the area of intellectual, emotional, and spiritual chemistry. I felt strong chemistry, and I felt attraction for her. See, part of the problem is, though, we men, we chase sex. So it's rather different for us. Whom we'll have sex with, doesn't necessarily mean someone we have chemistry with. So chemistry is an intangible. So I do ask myself, I had physical, sexual attraction for her, but I don't know if that was chemistry. Maybe because I wasn't feeling it from her. Maybe she wasn't feeling it from me. It certainly is an intangible. And chemistry isn't just about attraction. Chemistry is about pheromones. It's about energy. It's about a feeling. And that's why it's a big, gigantic letdown when it doesn't happen on that first meeting. Now, some people will tell you to give a man 3 chances to feel it. I certainly would agree with that if you're feeling some level of intellectual, emotional, or spiritual connection with them. But if you're grossed out by the person, I wouldn't give that person a chance if you feel grossed out. And that happens whether you're a man or a woman. I've known plenty of men who have felt like, oh my God, I got catfished by this person because they had filters on in their app and they look nothing like their photos. And it's sadly, people can tweak their photos to look nothing like what they actually look like. Oops. So anyway, chemistry, as I said, is more than attraction. It's pheromones, it's energy, it's feelings. And I'm grateful that I went into this experience objectively optimistic, cautiously optimistic and unattached to the outcome. I'm not bummed out because I feel like I'm one step closer to actually connecting with someone who might be a more aligned fit with me. We might be missing in some areas, but you know what? I could look at this as a gigantic letdown, or I could just look at this as I'm one step closer. Just like Edison, when he was making the light bulb, he took 2,000 attempts to make a light bulb. And someone asked, why you failed 2,000 times? And he said, no, I learned 2,000 ways not to create a light bulb. I am grateful that I was enthusiastic. Do you know how much fun it is to be that 16-year-old boy or girl? And you sent the note in classroom. Would you like to go on a date with me to some girl? And she checks the box, yes. And all you could think about is, it's that. That's how I felt. Folks, that's great enthusiasm. Did I put her up on a pedestal? Absolutely not. Was I lusting for her? I'm a guy. I lust for everybody. But I didn't push the lust narrative. So I practiced what I preach. I wasn't, even though I probably was a bit enthusiastic about meeting her, I didn't have extreme infatuation for her, which is limerence. And I didn't have lust for her, meaning I loved bombed her to get me in bed. That's what men do when they lust for you. Now, I'm grateful that we spent the time to practice radical honesty and intentionality, because this is something now even more critically important to me, to ask those more granular questions. And if someone is intimidated by that, if someone is offended by those questions, then they're not the right person for me. If going deep is too much for somebody, then then it's going to be a real letdown later on down the road. And I'm not asking anything that would compromise a person's boundaries. You see, getting to know someone requires digging in the nooks and crannies, and you have to be willing to open yourself up to someone. Now, I recognize if you have privacy or something that's, secret, then it takes time to build trust. But everything I asked was rather, it had depth, but it wasn't something that would compromise a person's boundaries. And I'm a big proponent of that. Could we have scaled back a little bit on the communication? Maybe, but we were having fun too. And the fact that we're not upset over this whole thing and we've communicated a number of times lets me know that I did everything right and according to what I teach as well. And I know many of you can criticize me. I know many of you can judge me. That's okay. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to let it affect me. Get it out. Be a troll if you wish. Okay? Judge her if you wish. I don't. I think she's a spectacular human being. I know I'm a spectacular human being. And I don't mean that in a narcissistic, grandiose way. I just mean I value myself from a place of self-love. And if you haven't read my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? There's a link below. It's a journey of personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. And I hope it makes a difference in your life. The number one relationship letdown is chemistry, because we see it right away or not, or we see it and feel it right away or not. And just remember, chemistry can be a lot more than attraction. It can be pheromones, it can be energy, it could be a feeling, or it could be wounding from your past. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know if it is. Post a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And also make sure you hit the notification bell on your phone as well. And if you want to connect with me directly, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. There's a link to join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. There's a link to follow me on Instagram. There's a link to get the books I recommend. There's a link to get my dating vows and all the books below. All right, those who know my live format know it's time for Q&A. If you have a question, there's a little chat box right there. Write the word question, then post the question thereafter. Or you can purchase a super sticker, super chat. All the monies from my super sticker, all the monies from the super sticker, super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Asley. That's a picture of him right there with his brother, Colin, and myself. He's my son who passed away over 6 years ago. In his honor, we donate to causes like the Hoffman Process Insight Institute and scholarships to coaching as well. And our goal tonight is $50, so I'd appreciate some love. All right, and if you want to join me on the love seat, I just posted a link. You can join me live and we can chat right here and even discuss this conversation. All right. Escalamard says, question, if chemistry is the most important, so why doesn't it last? I didn't say it was the most important. I said it is important, okay? Why doesn't it last? You know, I think a lot of people, love is a choice to some degree. And, you know, I think a lot of people, I think the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that John Gottman talks about, criticism, content, defensiveness, and stonewalling kills chemistry. Those are some of the reasons why I think chemistry doesn't last. Okay. Billy Holt is in the house. How do you know when chemistry is mutual? Do you ask? You know what I'm grateful for? We had this conversation. We talked about that. It was again, since we operated from a place of radical honesty, we talked about it. So you ask the question, folks. We got to stop being. We have to stop this duct tape in our mouths. Ask the question. That's how you know if it's mutual. And I guess some people are going to not tell the truth because it's very difficult to tell someone you don't have chemistry with them. Sarah's in the house. Jonathan, I've got a question. Do you have time to answer? Remember, I'm hearing impaired. I don't remember you, so please forgive me. If you want to post a question, yes, please do. Okay. KT, did you discuss your meet with your coach, Miss Rising, prior to meeting? I did reach out to her, but we weren't able to connect. So no, I did not. Did you do your 12 steps today? I don't know what those are, related to me anyway. Not judging, consistency important. I do believe that I practice everything I preach, so I feel like, now, can I make brain farts and mistakes? Absolutely. But yes, I've been consistent in my communication. Long distance dating is very problematic, which requires intentionality, radical honesty, and meeting as soon as possible. Those are some fundamentals I talk about with whether it's long distance, 1 hour away driving, or 1 hour plane ride, or across the country. All right. Summer says you didn't like her or she didn't like you. As I said in the beginning of the broadcast, she had openly said, I didn't have chemistry for you. So it was her. All right, let's see what else is said here. Okay, Catherine wanted to point this out earlier. There are many folks who can have interesting, in-depth conversation as time goes on. Talking starts on one level and two people get to know each other more, the conversation grows. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe it's something you build upon each other. What I'm grateful for is we didn't have surface level conversations, particularly because of the distance. We talked about our lives. We talked about our past. We talked about our marriages. We talked about our fears. We talked about the possibility of how this would work. We had in-depth conversations that felt but I can't describe how easy it was to talk to her. That's something that's an intangible. And she laughed at my jokes. I forgot to mention that. She laughed at my jokes. I think that's what made me so enthusiastic, is that we got each other's sense of humor. That's what made it so much fun. Anyway. All right. Let's keep going here. Trista is back in the house. Was there anything you would have done differently prior to meeting or during the meeting? No, I really think, the fact that we did it all in a week, I'm grateful it didn't last longer. That's for sure. I would have liked to have met her within a couple days, but again, there was 280 miles of distance. That would have been my preferred, to meet as soon as we had that first FaceTime and we really hit it off. I would have preferred, that would have been my ideal, but it wasn't possible. There's nothing I would have done differently in the meeting. I think, what I would have done differently, if I'm being honest? I think I sensed something was off, and I think I wanted to give, I should have brought it up sooner. I felt like I could have brought it up sooner. That's the only thing. I knew I felt something was off. But you know what? I wanted to, just like she was giving it time to unfold, I was giving it a time to unfold. So Tristan, no, I don't think so. Marianne is in the house. How do you differentiate what causes the chemistry you have towards somebody? The last person I had strong chemistry had strong red flags. I couldn't go forward. He's become a crush. Honestly, I think it's such an intangible. I think I could give you 5 different opinions, and it could be, there's so many permutations that one size doesn't fit all. I think ultimately what I've heard from everybody who is happily involved with each other, they just had a knowing, they had a feeling, they had a sense right when they met. It seems to be the consistent theme. Now, again, there's exceptions to that rule, but it seems as if that's the consistent theme. They both had an inner knowing when they met. And I guess that's probably part of chemistry as well, Marianne. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. C. Hope says, thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm starting to get it now. Thank you for always being so honest. Regina's in the house. Do you think there are people that feel chemistry and are afraid of that? Yes, I do believe that our wounds, whether it's our childhood or our adult traumas, could block chemistry, or it could cause us to reject chemistry. There's a saying, rejection is God's protection. I believe, folks, there's a part of me that believes that maybe God was ending it as soon as before it started. Maybe A, because there's someone even better around the corner, so to speak. But I truly believe it's because it probably wasn't meant to go the distance anyway. And I want everyone to think about that. I believe when something ends rather abruptly, it's because it was going to end later on down the road and you got saved the pain of going through the lesson. I'm so ecstatic over this experience. I got to learn so much about myself. I think she feels the same. So, and you know what? We're going to remain friendly with each other. I'm not suggesting she'll be a friend, but we'll remain friendly with each other. And I genuinely hope she meets somebody that's a better aligned for her. Billy Holt is back in the house, and she says, as an older person, does all this really matter? It's better to cut your losses and move on from dating. You've got to choose what's right for you, Billy. Kimberly says, I gave up on dating. I'm sort of married to my job. I get it. Why do you watch my channel then? I'm curious. Sarah says, I work with the CIA. In my religion, you don't groove somebody that's dead. Do you have live children? You don't groove somebody that's dead. I don't know what that means, groove. Power of Chi, Jonathan, sorry I'm late. Question, did she reject you because she saw you talk about her on her videos? No, I asked her permission before I ever shot the first video how she would feel about it. I even talked to her this morning before I did my post how she felt about it. She was very encouraging of me talking about this. I have kept it private because there's certain things that are, private to her. So, I'm not going to share her name or anything like that. But no, she was very aware of what I'm doing. Stacy said, did you make her pay 50%? I never make anyone pay 50%. Ever have I done that. What I do believe in is taking turns. And when it came to the first meal only meal we had, I paid, which I think was like $50. Regina says, what do you think is off? She didn't feel chemistry. I can't, describe that. It's an intangible. JA is a pro of 50-50. No, I'm not. I'm a pro of taking turns. There's a big difference between the two. I think mutual effort, mutual investment, that's what I believe in. Please don't pigeonhole me in the 50-50 category. But if you believe that's 50-50, then I'm just saying to you, I believe in taking turns. Power of Cheese says it's okay. Not every car is meant to pull in the driveway. I really do believe, I think the universe was protecting us both from something that, honestly, I don't, it would have had to been, I would move. And I don't know. I mean, I could have been faced with that 6 months from now, and that could have ended up being the deal breaker. I'd like to think I would, but maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's why we saved each other that. I don't know. She originally said she would move for love. So Ava says, I question chemistry. I was married 44 years and we had a lot of chemistry. And then the last few years, he abandoned me. So, well, first off, a human being changes radically in 44 years. Who he was 44 years ago is so different than who he is today. And I suspect you guys built a lot of resentment towards each other. You weren't possibly building a house together. You were probably starting to move apart years before he ever abandoned you, most likely. Marianne says, and you feel one step. I feel like I'm right there. Either I'm at the finish line ready to cross, or I'm at the starting line ready to start. You know what? I feel maybe I'm at the starting line getting ready to start with someone anew. Maybe that's where I'm at. Hey, does anyone want to join the HOTS or the love seat? Who wants to join me live and we can have this conversation? We can talk about this live. Maybe we can talk about your experience where you weren't feeling chemistry, whether you're a man or a woman. Certainly that might be the case, and I'm here to help. Wendy says, I think my new guy is narcissistic, but I don't want to lose if I'm wrong. Well, I'm sad that you believe that. That sounds like there's already problems in paradise. I would address those problems sooner rather than later. Kimberly says the end of a relationship is the beginning of another. Exactly. You know what? I had I had a 7-day relationship. It was one of my best relationships ever. Even my last relationship where we lived together, it's still one of the best relationships I've ever had in my life. I'm so grateful. I have, by the way, I'm still friendly with my ex-wife, my 2 most significant relationships. We're friendly with each other. We care about each other's well-being. I'm grateful for that. Karen says, I think you need to meet someone local, go out to meetups, tons of women. I do. I join lots of different groups. I go out to local things, just hasn't happened yet, but it will. Hey, how about some love for the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund? Listen, our goal is $50 tonight. If 25 of you donated just $2 to the super sticker super chats, I'd love to give some money away sooner rather than later. Let's keep going. Wendy, if he's a narcissist. Kimberly says, if he's a narcissist, do you really want to be involved? Billy Holt says, I'm not into bed hopping. Well, we didn't have sex. I'm going to tell you that. So I didn't bed hop. Look, if we don't have any questions, we're going to wrap up early tonight. I'd love to get someone on the hot seat. Come on, or the love seat, so we can talk about this. Callie Stu says, at our age, there's no avoiding past hurts. That reveal in the power struggle stage. And you definitely need chemistry to keep wanting to communicate and compromise and get to the bliss stage. She makes a rather good point. We need to feel a strong connection so we can overcome the struggles that happen in a relationship. It's important to have that strong connection. It's important to have shared values, shared vision, blendable lifestyle, and most importantly, emotional maturity. Just saying that I definitely need chemistry, as does a man, but of course I also need deep connection as well. Definitely we can have both chemistry and connection at the same time and the same interest. Absolutely, T. I appreciate it. Natty just gave us a $5 super sticker. Thank you for the love. Love that you share your true life and have recommended for all of us. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Look who's going to be in the house, but Billy Holt.
Hey.
What do you got for me?
I don't know. I don't know. What do you want to know?
Well, ask me a question. Just get the ball rolling and we'll go from there. Why did you watch this video?
I watch your videos because it gives me a perspective, like a different perspective.
Okay.
And I look on my past relationships and then you kind of like fill in the gaps, like
Okay.
things that I didn't know or understand. And so that's why I watch it. I'm not really trying to get a date or anything,
Well,
but
would you like to have a man in your life?
I think it would be nice, but like I'm that's where I'm at now, is like I'm involved in so many things.
Yeah.
Um should he support me on those things? Should I expect him to support me on those things? Should I give up some of those things to devote time to him? I mean, I'm just kind of at a crossroads. Like,
But you're asking questions that would be questions to ask once you're well into a relationship. Like, why are you thinking about, now for me, I would want to ask myself, why do I want a life partner? Like, why do you want someone in your life? And really examine all of those nooks and crannies as to why you'd want someone in your life. And then you would want to ask yourself, well, how can I be seen by this person that I want to meet? But what you're talking about is, do I have to compromise? Like, think about those things once you met somebody. Now I understand that you might be asking yourself, am I so rigid in where I'm at in my life? Am I willing to accept someone in my life? I think that's a fair question to explore within oneself. To be in a healthy, happy relationship, compromise is an important factor. But as I've always said, settling is choosing a person you're not in love with. Compromising is deeply loving someone and accepting the differences. So if you deeply love someone, you will you will accept those differences in a way to create synergy and harmony in a relationship. But my instincts tell me, Billy, is that you've already resigned yourself. I mean, as much as you might want a relationship, you've given up the hope piece, is my gut tell me.
mm, like I'll tell you, Jonathan, I met somebody. I met him. We met at a coffee shop. I
Okay.
didn't go to his house. I met him in a public place. And we sat there and talked, and he told me about himself. He's getting ready to retire, and he's a nice guy and everything. But it seemed like that was it. Like, he's telling me he's getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
He has a home out on the lake. He's got a boat and a Harley and all this kind of stuff. And he just kind of like left it at that. Like,
Well, he was just selling himself to you. What most people do is, let me give you my resume of why you should consider me. That's a very human behavior experience. Okay. What he was doing is very common human behavior. Um, did he ask any questions about you?
very little. He just asked
See,
me.
sadly, most humans do a very poor job of actually getting to know another human being. Whether you're a man or woman, I've seen women equally bad at this. I've gone on first dates, and you would think I have a profession that they'd want to talk about on a date. And I've had crickets from women asking me questions about what I do, why I do it, why I love what I do. It so fascinates me. So it's a very human behavior to give the resume of who you are and not really inquire about the other person.
So what am I supposed to do?
Well,
Like,
you have to do, I
I've
mean,
been.
what are you supposed to do? I mean, I can't really answer that for you. Again, first off, if I were you, I'd get real clear as to why I want a relationship and list all the whys you want a relationship. Okay. Know your why, because that's your carrot. And then I would put myself in environments where I can be seen by single eligible people. The number one place to meet people today, online dating, is the number one place. 65% of all new couples today are meeting through an online connection. In fact, in a few days, I'm interviewing a couple that met on Bumble, of all places. So it's where people are meeting. I'm not saying it's the best place, but it's where people are meeting.
I mean, yeah, I've met a lot of people, but most of them want me to come right to their house.
Yeah.
Okay. And like you said, like, it would be nice to meet someone and just do stuff with them. But like, I met this one guy, and it's like he expected me, like, to him a relationship was like some kind of bond we didn't have. Like it was an
Well,
expected
again,
bond.
one person doesn't make all of your life experiences. You know where you can meet people? Join a travel group. Join groups where you can travel with people. Join hiking groups. Go to places where you can. By the way, there are plenty of people that if you post you want to go traveling, there's people that will say, I'll join you in traveling. And it could even be a male companion. There are a variety of different ways to connect with people if you just want companionship without all the seriousness.
So try different groups, different friends.
And you said you keep so busy. If you're so busy, do you even have time for a relationship? I invite you to explore that within yourself. Okay, Billy?
Okay, thanks, John.
All right. Thank you, sweetheart, for
All right,
being
bye.
on. Big hugs.
Okay, bye.
Billy was very brave and kind to join us. I think a lot of people desire a relationship, but they don't know their core why. They don't know what's behind it. They haven't really they haven't put themselves out there. Folks, I put myself out there. I use online dating because it happens to be something I teach professionally. It also happens to be a great way to meet people. My dating profile's back up, and I've had 3 women write me since this ended with her. No one sparked my fancy yet, but I'm just saying, hey, you never know who could be the next person around the corner. All right, let's keep going here. Someone wrote something. KT said, would the lady you met come on live and talk about her feelings as your connection? You know, I asked her if she'd be willing to write a letter to all of you, and she said she'd be open to doing that. I don't think she'd want to come live because she is private and she has a right to be private. But I did ask her to write a letter to share how she felt. But she's going to be meeting with her committee of friends, her people, to process and download this. So maybe on down the road, she might be willing to do that. But I can tell you what she shared with me was she was deeply saddened that it didn't work out between us. And she was hopeful for it. So I'm grateful for the entire experience. Trista says, oh, yay, Jonathan. Hopefully one of 3 works out, or maybe you have multiple connections. Who knows? Might work out. Which dating sites? Matt asked. I'm on Bumble, Hinge, Match.com, Millionaire Match, and The League. 2 of those, one of those I pay for, and then I've got the free services. So again, Bumble, Hinge, Millionaire Match, Match.com, and The League. Oh, RM Bells says, bourbon tasting groups, cigar smoking groups, poker tournament groups, pool shooting, football watching, sports bars. Again, great places to be around people. Eva says, what dating sites do you use? Bumble and any others? Again, I'll repeat myself. Bumble, Hinge, Match.com, Millionaire Match, and The League. And you kind of have to know somebody to get into The League. Maybe I should join Raya. That's where the real affluent people hang out. Okay. Power Chi says, join a crypto group. I think that's funny. If we don't get a question in a moment, we're going to be wrapping up early. I'd appreciate some love. How about some money for the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund? I'd really appreciate it. All right. You know what, folks? Since we have a bashful group tonight, you have your chance to ask me all kinds of questions about what, okay. Taddy says, can you share what you wrote in your dating? Can I share what I wrote in my dating profile? Okay. This is my Bumble profile. So, which is shorter than my Match.com profile. So bear with me. It says my bio. So it says, for the past 6 years, I've been on a deep exploration to find out who I am beyond fear and ego after losing my 19-year-old son passed away. A journey of self-love, seeking a marriage-minded empty nester who wants to explore the depths of love. Swipe right if personal development and spiritual practices are essential to you, including ayahuasca journeys to explore deeper consciousness and expansion to the divine. Then it goes on. I hope you love to laugh because I have a wicked sense of humor, or at least warp. Since I live at the beach, I hope you like sun and riding bikes. And lastly, and I see Gabriella's there. Lastly, a pro of con of dating me. Pro, high emotional IQ and good relationship skills. Con, I like to process everything. All right, Giselle, we're going to get you on.
Hi, thanks for changing my name to Gabriella.
Oh, sorry. You know what? I had a brain fart, so.
That's okay. It's okay. It's been a long night.
Okay. What you got for me?
Well, to be honest, it's not a question. It's more of I wanted to give you props for your bravery, for sharing your story with us and your journey throughout this whole process of your long distance dating. And it's a very beautiful thing, and we truly, truly appreciate it. At least I do, and I know that a lot of people do as well. Of course, there's going to be a lot of haters and a lot of trolls, which I send them love and light, which hopefully will guide them throughout their out of their darkness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to jump in and say that, and don't let negativity get you down. At the contrary, feel amazing and feel brave that you actually, you share something that you didn't have to share. And the fact that you took the time and the dedication to share it with us, it's amazing, and we give you props.
Oh, I might cry. Oh, I appreciate that. I recognize that I feel like sometimes I've walked off the plank, and someone just pulled it out from underneath me. I'm going to be swimming in the shark infested waters. You know what? I watch many contemporaries of mine, and they don't really. Well, some of them, are married and they give their marriage life, which is fine. But I'm in the same trenches as you. I'm in the same trenches as for most of my audience, and I'm like, look. I'm going to teach what I experienced. I'm going to share what I've experienced. And I know that sometimes I share my little 6-year-old that comes out, my anxiety riddled little 6-year-old that has temper tantrums and is so fucking scared and is nervous and anxious and all those things, because I'm just a human being just like everyone else. And this dating environment is very confusing and complicated. There is so much dating advice out there that is so confusing, so much rhetoric, so much misunderstanding about things, because there's layers and layers of scripts going on, that it's so radically confusing. And I'm not here to suggest my advice is one size fits all. In fact, I don't even feel like I give advice. What I give is perspective. And what you just shared is, hey, I'm sharing a perspective, and you can say, oh, I like that or I dislike that. That's what I'm doing. And I appreciate being acknowledged for it. You're very sweet. You're very sincere. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to give you some compliments here as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I
I've got you
that.
on. Oh, so I'm sorry, I cut you off. Say that again.
No, that I appreciate that. Thank you so much for telling me that.
All right, let's just for fun. Are you single looking for love? Are you in a relationship? What's your story?
I am single. I'm 33 years old, and I just clarify my age because I do look younger than what I am. But I have been following your channel for so many years now, and thanks to you, I have actually grown to realize what perspective it is that I want in dating. Because
Okay.
I used to, before I started my spiritual journey 8 years ago, after I got out of a very toxic relationship. That I won't go into details with that, but it was very toxic. He was in it for the wrong reasons, and so was I. So was I, because I was emotionally unavailable. I'll own my part. Okay. And I was wounded, and I decided that I wanted to go through a spiritual healing that led me all the way to Christ, and that's who I have right now in my heart, and I feel full. But I am ready for a relationship, and I am ready to experience that in my life, and I'm waiting for someone special. And I say waiting because I do believe, like I wrote to you in one of the comments, I do believe that God works in mysterious ways, and that the right partner will show up. Yeah. and I am aligning within my energy, so
Can
I
I
can
interrupt?
connect. Yeah,
Can I interrupt?
absolutely,
Can
absolutely.
let's tweak the word waiting, and how about I'm ready to get 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 ready. Like each day you're getting ready. I don't know. I think I like that better than waiting. I'm like always getting ready. You know, I wake up in the morning ready and optimistic and hopeful, you know. And
Yes.
so I'm just suggesting a slight shift from the word waiting till,
I love
you know,
it.
I'm
I am
ready. I'm
ready.
like, I'm here. I'm ready to let me roll up my sleeves. I'm ready to get into
I'm
this
totally
crazy,
ready.
because do you know why it's called dating?
Yeah. No,
Do you know why
tell
it's
me.
called dating? It's because
Enlighten me.
holy fuck. It was because originally it was called holy fucking shit. This is insane. Trying to figure out another human being was taken. So they replaced it with the word waiting.
Yeah.
Giselle, someone wrote a comment that Cece wrote a comment. If you have too much anxiety, that can be a turnoff for a woman. So I share my unfiltered, you know, things going on in my head. That's not who I am 90% of the time. It's those moments of temporary insanity. It's the moments of where my little 6-year-old come out. But I'm a very confident, successful. I have, you know, I have one of the top channels. I make a lot. I have coaching clients all day long. I'm not riddled in anxiety all very second of the day, and I'm being tongue in cheek right now. But I just wanted your take on that.
Well, I think that sometimes excitement can be confused with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's nothing wrong with being anxious because we're human.
Yeah.
We all live that anxiety. You know, we all have a nervous system. And
Yeah.
sometimes that nervous system can be triggered. And that happens when you're excited. Like me right now, I'm going to be completely honest and vulnerable. Me talking to you right now, I'm a little shaky right now, you know, and it's because I'm excited.
I'm
And
going to
it's
give
not
you a big
because
hug. I'm going to give you a hug
I
to
accept your
support you with
hug. I
love.
accept it with love, and I cherish it because this is very beautiful what you do. And you know, like I said, it's okay. It's okay to feel anxiety. It's okay to go through ups and downs. You know, those
Yeah.
are just experiences that we live in life that help us grow and determine what it is that we want for us in our life. Like what you went through was an experience and you took a chance. You know, you took a chance and you followed your heart and you did what was right, because now you can move on and not be like, what if I would have done it? What if you didn't stay with that? You
No,
actually
you know
took
what?
the
Like
chance.
we hit it off. We met as soon as we could for timing's sake. We met as soon as we could. And you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm a little bummed out, you know, like because you know, like,
It's
you know, and
normal.
not that I thought that I met the one, you know, but I thought it had hope for potential. And
Yeah,
you
and it's
know,
exciting.
yeah,
It's
you know, I'd rather, you know,
exciting,
how many
and you
times
live that. And that means that
yeah,
you're alive. As long as you live that excitement, that means that you're alive.
yeah.
And that keeps you going, and it's like your motor to be like, okay, I'm feeling. So I know what I want to feel when I'm with the next person that God has for you, because God has someone
Exactly,
for you.
exactly. You know, it's
And that's the
interesting.
beautiful thing.
I've always said to the ladies, you'd be better off dating an anxious man than an avoidant man,
Oh, for
because at
sure.
least an anxious man is constantly trying to make the relationship work. It might be a turnoff because it doesn't seem confident like the avoidant man, but the avoidant man is emotionally avoidant. He's
And
emotionally void. He's
insecure.
emotionally constipated.
And insecure. You don't want an insecure man in your life. You want a man
Well,
that
everybody is
you know is
insecure
there
to
for you.
some degree.
Well, yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't. You know, it depends on their wounding and it depends on
Yeah,
how much work they have done. Everybody has a reason of why they are the way they are, and we
yeah,
can't really be judging them. But I will say for experience, I think it's important before even taking a step of dating, it's important to heal and to work on
yeah,
oneself
yeah.
before taking that step. Because it's not just you, like you say, it's not just you, it's not just, excuse my English, it's my second language, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
It's
okay.
not just you, it's not the person, it's also what you're doing within the relationship. Like you say, it's a separate entity within itself.
Exactly.
And that's
So
something that you need to plant and water so it can
So I
grow
want to
and
share
bloom.
something. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, it's
Um,
okay.
Well, I'm always excited, so it's a
Me too.
So, it's interesting. You shared your age being 33, and most of my audience is midlife, which I say is after baby making years, before retirement. In all honesty, I wish 30-year-old women were listening to my advice, because believe me, I've got a lot of 60-year-old women going, God, I wish I learned this 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So I'm grateful when I have a younger demographic come on here and really embody what I most teach is personal development, self-help, spiritual work as a pathway to being prepared for being in a relationship. I'm not necessarily here to teach you how to text the guys the 3 ways to get them to flirt like you can't even ever imagine.
That's
I don't
waste
know
of
how to
time.
teach that stuff.
That's
I'm
a
just
waste
here,
of time.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
just here to
resonate with
encourage.
that.
Yeah.
I don't
So
resonate
listen,
with that. Tell me.
I want to wrap up with you with a prayer for you and me and everyone watching, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So God, universe, spirit, we invite love for everybody who's watching tonight, where they can find a person where there's amazing chemistry between them. And the communication between them and between us is off the charts, and we can banter all night long, and our little 6-year-olds can play together in laughter and in joy and in fun. And we communicate from a conscious, heart-centered level, at a grown-up level. So when we have conflicts on our relationship, we can hold hands together as a team and get through those rough spots. And we have our lifestyles are compatible with one another, and they can blend together with such ease that our relationship has been built on a foundation of working together as a team. And we are so aligned in our values. We are aligned in our values because that is how we build trust with one another. And we can have so much fun through social activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal and our professional life, which builds the deep roots of trust for a long-lasting, loving relationship. God, universe, spirit, I invite that for myself and Giselle and everyone who's watching tonight. Can I get a big amen?
Amen. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and God bless you. God bless everybody here, and we hope that we can all find love.
I am agreement. Thank you so much. Giving you a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear
I
hug.
give it to you back. A big Giselle love. Right back at you.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
All
Take
right,
care.
bye now. Giselle, if there's an A at the end, please forgive me, was so sweet, so kind, allowed me to share from my heart for all of you, to invite in love in your life. And I'm really grateful that she acknowledged who I am, because folks, it takes a bit of courage for me to put myself on the firing line. I've been judged by many people. I've been criticized for being inconsistent or not practicing what I preach. I absolutely practice what I preach. And sometimes am I off a bit on some of my advice? Possibly, yes, who knows? Sometimes we throw things up against the wall and see if it sticks, but I'm here to encourage you. If you're going to do any relationship, be intentional. Be intentional, be radically honest with one another, and meet as soon as humanly possible. That I teach, whether you live 5 minutes from each other, 1 hour away driving, 1 hour plane ride away, or across the country or in another country. Intentionality, radical honesty, and meet as soon as humanly possible. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know if it is. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. Hey, I want to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you all a hug of love. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. Oh, and I want to thank Sharon, who says, Giselle, you are more than a younger demographic. Value yourself highly. Kind of you to say it's okay when talked over, but you have choices. Sending love to all of you. Kind, so kind, Jonathan. She was kind, Jonathan. I agree. Thank you so much. And again, I apologize. I was excited about sharing some things. I want to thank Matt and Billy and RM and Natty and PH and Weejin and Giselle, of course. And she says thank you to everyone. Maria, Power of Chi, SR, Regina, Sharon, Kimberly, PH, Mary Stewart, Michelle, everyone, big hugs. Ava, Lorraine, Claire. Let's see. Everyone, thanks so much. Wishing you all a super duper wonderful evening. You all be well. Thanks. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.